Okay, I don't have power on right now, but here's the dilemma I've been facing, is that there's a sensor here and a sensor here, and I've got everything set up to measure when this is tripped, when this is tripped, and do the calculations from millimeters per millisecond to miles per hour, and I've double checked that on Google. That all works. So when I first did my testing, I used this little car and I pushed it through like that. And then over here I installed this guy, which is what I'm using to test with to see am I close or not. I installed it where you can't see there. I installed it here. I put it various places. And every time this speedometer would show something and my calculation was 3 or 4 times faster. And so I kept trying it and I took results and I recorded them all, and then went upstairs and tried to do math on it. Nothing worked. And I thought, okay, well, let's try it, because this pushes it through and it slows down. Let's try a locomotive. So I brought this locomotive in and fired up the track and ran it. But every time I got 0 for a speed. Every time it went through. So it would come along and 0. And so I started looking under the layout, and these sensors have an LED to show that you are emitting, and another LED when the collector receives data. And I was seeing this. I'd count to 2, so 2 seconds, 200 2000 milliseconds, but I'd still get a 0, and I couldn't figure it out. So I said, okay, well, let's try a different locomotive. So I put this locomotive on, and when it went through, it was really fast, faster than this guy, even though the speed was the same. Couldn't figure it out, went to bed and slept on it. Oh, the next test I tried is, because maybe there's a reflective issue here, maybe the front of this is reflecting or something, I put the box car on front of this and pushed it around, and sure enough, 0s all the way, and I couldn't figure it out. And then I laid in bed thinking, thought, you know, it's almost as if there's not enough time. And then it suddenly dawned on me, my logic says whenever this one is covered, record the time. And when it's not covered, don't record the time. And then when this one's covered, record the time, subtract this time from this. And so what was happening was that with the box car, when it went through, it would trip the sensor, and the sensor stays tripped, so it keeps recording the time. And once it leaves there, then it says, oh, it saves that time, and all it's doing then is, oh, calculated that time. So the distance is now shortened to less than half in there. And when I use this locomotive, cover the front sensor, no, cover the back sensor, and the front one's still covered, so they're both covered. So because of the logic, it does that. With this locomotive, cover the front sensor, first sensor's uncovered, hit the next sensor. And so I figure that's what's going on. So now I'm going to modify my code and give it another try. Part of the debugging process. Setup, let's see what happens. 151, 152. That's pretty darn close. Let's see, on this pass, this says 154.8, 154. I deliberately flashed this. I guess I should do something else. 156, 156. Let's cut the speed down and see what happens at a slower speed. Okay, 85.47, 85. Yeah, I should just make that solid. Here we go around one more time at the slow speed. 82.33, 83. And let's get it over here and do a slower speed test. Oh, gotta get it moving. There, that's how fast it's moving. Let's see what this says. 16.73, 17. So it looks like all the calculations are right. Let's just do one more thing here. There, we'll reverse this guy. Give it enough speed to get through the speed trap. .32 and 20. So it works both directions. Hot darn. Okay, and I'll hit the reset one more time just to make sure you get to see the LCD init countdown. And then what we see is the top line, every second the character goes across, and on the bottom line it's going from the left to the right, and it's going a little bit faster. Remember, the top one's every second and the bottom one is every 3/4 of a second. What this will do is it will wrap in the direction I've indicated, and I've shown you the variables on screen, where if you go ahead and change those, you can have it going either direction, and you can change the speed. And as far as characters go, I set them up as a constant. You could input them, you could do whatever you want. But what this does is it shows that I can scroll, and it makes sure the LCD works properly. Now that I know that all of that's working properly, I can take it downstairs to the layout, plug it in with the liquid, the LED, the light emitting diode one that I've got plugged in, and I can plug this LCD in at the same time, and I can verify that they're both working. Then I can do a comparison and say, well, which one do I really want on the layout? This gives more information, and of course if I put in a 4-line one, it would give me even more information, but I'm not sure what all I want to display. So at this point in time, I just want to make sure they're both working okay. The other thing I want to do is verify that I can have both the LCD and the LED plugged in at the same time. They're different addresses, so I should be able to. So here's what I'm going to try and do in order to fix the issue with the receiver here picking up ambient light. I've got an LED light in the basement, and when it reflects off the ceiling, this guy picks it up. So my first attempt, so get this little piece of foam out of here because it's driving me crazy. Anyway, my first attempt is to use this here, which is 1/4-inch tube with a .250 diameter, 6.33 millimeter, and yeah, it was 375. Anyway, it's round styrene tube that I have, and I'm just marked it here to fit over just to the end. And now I'm going to cut it. Oh, I just had a great idea for cutting it. Get right back here. There we go. We'll set this up right here. That goes in there, and this miter box, that's hiding that now, but it'll go right there. And then all we have to do is put this tube in like this, and I should, if I was doing much of this, I'd clamp it all down, but I'm not, so get that in there. That's about where I want it. There. Ooh. So we a little tube like that. We get a great big file, and we file the rough edges off the outside. And then once we've done that, feel not bad, or sandpaper, and we'll look over in the rest of our files for a small round file. Usually have one around. Can't find it right now, but I can find a triangle, so we'll just use that to file this guy out. Back here again. This feels okay, and now we'll put it on to the collector so that there's a bit of a gap there. I'm thinking that may... Don't like how high that is. I need to take a little bit more off. So back to here. Thinking it's going to be pretty tough with that to do it. How about we just grab a knife here and do it like this. Because after all, I'm just trialing this to see how well it'll work. There, that's better height-wise. Okay, now let's go try it on the layout and see if it makes a difference. Alright, you can't really see a lot other than that's what it looks like now. And when I plug power in, what do I see underneath here? I see, oh, both lights are on. So that means it is bright enough in here. We'll turn this off. Well, this light's still on. So now this one is worse than it used to be before. So that is not a solution. Let's just pull it out. Oh yeah, just sitting here it's a problem. Let's take that little piece off. What I'm getting at is both lights are on, which says it's sensing stuff right away. So putting a sleeve on here didn't help at all. Now with the sleeve off, you can see it's better than it was. So let's just push this back up in here to here. Maybe there. Okay, so that's okay again, like that. And let's turn the inside light on. It's okay at that level of brightness. At that level of brightness, still okay. That level of brightness, yeah, they're both on now, so they're both picking up the reflection from the light. So here's the problem I'm having. If I make it less sensitive and point it up, you can see both lights are on. If I now decrease the sensitivity to the point where only one light is on, right there, okay, now you can see there's only one light, but I can't get the other, like, it's basically off. And as soon as I turn it on, there, so that Ooh, that might work. That senses it about that level, which is right, and otherwise doesn't. Let's plug it in underneath and see what happens here. Maybe this is just a matter of getting this thing right. Okay, so we'll put it through to there, and only one light's on. Oh, and that's got the other one. Okay, let's notch down the sensitivity on this one then. See if that works. Yep, that's only got one on in each case, and it does seems to work. Nope. It's not sense enough to reflect off of that. If I'm right at, yeah, see, even passing my finger over top, seldom does it. And in order to get it sensitive enough to pick that up, it picks up the LED in the room. Okay, we'll try some more adjustments on this.